Welcome back to r/neighbors from hell, where people share stories about their crazy neighbors. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our amazing community. And without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled "Don't Block My Car In." So my wife and I live in an old Victorian style house in a college town split into 2 apartments. A 2-bedroom downstairs and a 4-bedroom upstairs. The first year it was occupied by nursing students who were great. They all finished their rotations and moved out, and we got a set of MBA students who were douches. At first we thought, oh, they're young. We will politely complain when they don't clean up their dog crap / have a Tuesday night kegger and play COD so loud it rattles our windows. They will figure it out and it will be okay. Well, it wasn't. Their response to our requests were annoyance and non-compliance, which opened the door up for me to engage in passive-aggressive revenge tactics, and I have many stories from the year they resided above us. One Monday morning, after a pretty raging party upstairs, I came outside to find my car parked in by the upstairs neighbor my wife had nicknamed Want Hammer, CH for short. Now, in the lease we had exclusive use of the driveway. Upstairs we're supposed to park on the street, however they often parked behind us when street parking was scarce, so I knocked on the door to get them to move the car so I could go to work. Only there's a little problem. CH has left that morning on spring break vacation. He won't be back for 2 weeks. After I had recovered from contemplating exactly how much of a douchebag you would have to be to illegally park in your downstairs neighbors and then leave for 2 weeks, I rang the non-emergency police line and explained my situation. They tried to contact CH to no avail, so my legal recourse was to have the car towed to a legal vacant spot on the street at my own expense, which, given I had to go to work, was what I would have to do. While I was waiting for the tow truck, I hatched a mature and a juvenile revenge plan. Juvenile plan first, I got a bottle of DOT3 brake fluid and a rack out, and utilizing the extent of my artistic abilities, painted a big old cock and balls on the hood with a pew 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 of pee going over the roof, and left it to bake in. The mature part of the plan came to fruition when the tow truck arrived. Our city has a penchant for street sweeping, and tow cars enthusiastically when doing so. They had just put up signs down one side of our street notifying that they would be sweeping in 4 days. I reserved a spot that side of the road for CH's car and had the driver put it there. I let him in on the plan as he was contracted to tow cars for the city that day. He giggled a lot at my slowly emerging cock and balls artwork and said he would try and pick up CH's car early, knowing that if he was away for 2 weeks his company would be able to rack up a nice storage fee. The day came and the tow driver who moved the car came straight to CH's car and towed it. I had dropped a note in CH's letterbox explaining, without being rude, that he had parked me in and I had to have his car moved at my expense so I could go to work. Cue him coming back and furiously pounding on my door. "Where's my damn car?" he demanded. I explained I had moved it to the other side of the street into a legal car space because neither the police or I could contact him. The city had swept the street last Thursday. They had towed it. He would need to call the police. He stormed off, furious, only to return a few hours later. Apparently, the combination of the city's fine, the tow fee, and 10 days storage totaled over $1,000. And his car had been, hilariously, vandalized at the tow yard. He demanded I pay. I politely declined, suggesting that he might try small claims court if he could demonstrate I had done anything I was liable for. He never took me up on the offer. The artwork had come out great, the car had been left in the rain, so the giant dick on the hood of his beat-up Civic had rusted in. Apparently, it even earned him the nickname Dick Wheels in class. And you know guys, parking someone in is one thing. Maybe sometimes it can happen if you have an emergency or something, but basically knowingly parking someone in for 2 weeks when you go on vacation is just insanity. These neighbors are definitely not normal people. And the next one is titled Realtor Revenge. So my first time on my own after college, I got an apartment with a buddy in Austin, Texas. When signing the lease, we found it odd that they made us sign an intent to move out form, but the property management agency said it was standard and we were naive, so whatever, we signed. Not even 2 months into our 1-year lease, realtors start showing up at our apartment trying to get it pre-leased for the following year. This is odd, I think, so I consult my lease. Sure enough, if written intent to move out has been submitted, the apartment can be shown to prospective renters as long as a reasonable time and date has been agreed upon with the tenants. The problem is, these realtors would just show up unannounced at all hours of the day to walk around our place with complete strangers. I called the owner of the unit, who was the other party to the lease, and she was in 100% agreement of my interpretation. Realtors must call at least 24 hours in advance, and only after we reach a mutual agreement on the time and date, they stop by to show the place. Yet it continued. 7:30 AM on a Saturday morning, a knock at the door from some realtor. After explaining to him that he can't do this, he replies,
"Read your lease, man. I can come by whenever I want."
"Actually, the contract is between me and the owner, and you've never seen my lease. We need to schedule a time first."
"Whatever, I'm already here and you're already awake, so you might as well let me in."
The last straw was when one afternoon I went for a quick run. I was out of shape, so it would be 20 minutes max, and left the door unlocked so I wouldn't have to carry keys. I get back to the apartment and the door is locked. After 3 hours of waiting for my roommate to get home from work, we go inside to find the business card of the guy who had shown the place while I was gone and proceeded to lock me out. That was it. No more of this crap. I called the guy up to explain that he had just locked me out of my own home. His reaction:
"Well, I guess you've learned to never leave the door unlocked."
Just wow. I was ready for some revenge but had no way to go about it. Random unscheduled visits from random people. What could I do? Would this actually continue for the next 10 months of my lease? Until one day an opportunity fell right into my lap. I see a voicemail left at 10:15 on a Saturday morning from a guy saying he will be by to show my apartment at 11 AM. Great, I think. Thanks for the heads up. But I had recognized the voice. It was the same guy who locked me out and told me to F off. I still had his card and confirmed it with the phone number. I knew he was coming, but he didn't know I had gotten the message. A few minutes before he was set to arrive, I go into the kitchen. The kitchen island is right in front of the entryway, completely naked, and start doing prep work for dinner. Big knife, chopping onions and the like. Earphones in, as if I were listening to music. Right on cue, I hear a knock on the door at 11. Game time. This guy is gonna see my hairy ass. After a couple of knocks, a key goes in the door. Deadbolt unlocks, the door opens behind me and quickly closes. Ha! That will be an image he will never forget. But this guy is persistent. Knock, knock, knock. Door opens again and promptly closes. More knocking. Take the hint, I'm thinking to myself. The door opens again and I hear footsteps approaching me. No effing way. The nerve on this guy. I feel a tap on my shoulder and I whirl around, giant kitchen knife in the air, and I scream, "What the F?" The guy's terrified face turns to desperate placation. "It's okay, I'm a realtor." Entirely pissed off, I yell, "Get the F out of my house!" and literally chase him out of the door. Standing in front of the door are 3 little Asian girls who were just trying to find a nice apartment. "Sorry," I stated firmly, my entire front exposed holding a knife. I closed the door. I don't know if Austin realtors have some kind of communication network, but from then on, none of them stopped by without scheduling an appointment first, at least 24 hours in advance. And guys, if you have watched until here and enjoy the neighbor stories, please don't forget to like the video and maybe even post some star emojis in the comments if you want to support me. Thank you very much in advance. And the next one is titled Smashy Smashy. One day last summer I was out and about running some errands when a small car randomly cut me off in a parking lot. The driver was on his cell phone and clearly not paying attention. Over the course of the next little distance he proceeded to cut me off several more times. Unsure if this guy was genuinely clueless because of the cell phone being held to his ear or if he had some random vendetta against me, I decided to put some distance between us. Unfortunately, at the next intersection we were both stopped at the red light. The second the red light turned green, I heard a honk. Okay, I didn't leave the line as if it were a quarter-mile drag, but I wasn't taking any longer than the average driver. Then a second honk and I looked in my rear view mirror and this guy is giving me the finger. Being a little pissed at this guy not so stellar driving, I decided to throw my truck in parking and go confront him. It was a stupid idea for so many reasons, but sometimes my lack of fear makes me do stupid things. I get back to his window and simply ask if there's a problem. He puts his phone on his lap and then goes on a rant about how crappy of a driver I am and that I didn't move once the light turned green. I asked if he wanted to start over in a more polite way. He told me to F off, then picked his phone back up and I kid you not, he said,
"Sorry mom, some a-hole is blocking the road."
I ripped the phone out of his hand and began walking back to my truck. He hopped out and began to charge at me, but stopped the moment he realized I was not kidding around and ready to fight back. He then asked for his phone back in a decently polite way. I told him, sure, as long as you can catch. I launched his iPhone straight up into the air as high as I could. He managed to stumble and miss, catching his phone by mere inches. It smashed into a million little pieces. I immediately felt bad, not for breaking his phone, that felt great. I felt bad that I was probably going to get in crap by the police and have to deal with that. I don't mind a minor thing like that going on my record, it is perfectly spotless otherwise, so I decided to go straight to the police in hopes that I could reduce problems by immediately turning myself in. At the station, the other driver arrived shortly after me. I assume it took him a little bit of time to pick up the pieces of his phone. The police spoke to us separately. He was first and it took about 15 minutes. Then the cop came in to speak to me. He said, "I have issued him 2 tickets, one for distracted driving, cell phones are banned while driving, and one for reckless driving." He has had 3 complaints and written warnings for other similar situations where he was on his cell phone and nearly caused accidents, so I don't believe him when he tells me he was not on his cell phone. As for you, you shouldn't break people's cell phones or even confront them no matter how bad their driving is. Report them to us and we will deal with it. On a personal level, I bet that felt good. Have a good day and remember not to get into any of these altercations anymore. I laughed at the outcome of that. I walked outside and seen the other driver pulling out of the lot. I gave him the most smug smile and wave I could muster up. And the next one is titled, How I Got Revenge on Violent Drug Dealers, which eventually led to their arrest. After my second year in college, a friend and I moved in with another friend. He was renting a 2-bedroom house in a lower income area, so it was pretty cheap. It was fairly close to the university campus and all 3 of us were attending. We were able to work it out where it would be a whole lot cheaper living there than on campus. The neighborhood itself was not bad at all. It was mostly other kids, elderly folks and a few others here and there. Everyone in the neighborhood was pretty relaxed and chill, except for our neighbors. We will call them Walter and Jesse. Now, Walter and Jesse were brothers and entrepreneurs of sorts. They ran a small in-home business selling product in niche market that required very little advertisement. They were meth cooks and dealers, obnoxious, loud, violent drug dealers. Everyone hated them, but nobody would say anything about it due to the constant threats they would make while strung out from their front yard. We pretty much fell in line at first. They would blast music and adult movies from their house from 7 AM until 7 AM. We would hear screaming matches at their house that became full-blown fights on their lawn, huge parties that would go on for days, and to our chagrin, we ignored it all. Well, up arrives March, and my income tax comes in. I only get about $500, but damn, that's my $500 and I'm gonna buy something for me. Everything has gone to college and bills and I want to splurge. I go out and buy a 42-inch LCD TV. It's a Vizio, but it is the first HD TV I've ever had. My friends and I set it up and oh boy, did we have fun that week. And only that week, for that's as long as I had it. The meth bros decide they are gonna shoot their BB gun at whatever the F they can see. At birds, bushes, fences and especially windows. Well, one little BB decided to go straight through my window and hit my TV, cracking it while I was playing some MW2. My face dropped and I heard laughing, which then immediately turned to death threats if I called the cops. Now I know they had real guns, they had no issue showing them to anyone who looked at them. My friends and I were all disappointed at the turn of events, and both of them had submitted to not doing anything about it. But nay, not I. The one time I purchased me a bit of joy in my life, I grew up fairly poor, it was taken away from me. So I plotted and I plotted and I plotted some more, and an evil plot I did accomplish. I saved up every Gatorade bottle I purchased for about 3 weeks, and every other day I would go to a different store and purchase pool cleaning tablets and rubbing alcohol at a different one, all with cash of course. Now some of you might see what is going on, and you would be right. I had about 15 bottles saved up, and I made some spectacular chlorine gas bombs. I waited for a night when both of them were gone. It was about 3 in the morning, so virtually everyone was asleep. I had prepared the Gatorade bottles with the alcohol prior, so I started loading the tablets into the bottles and throwing them over the fence. Since I did not break down the tablets, it took a while for them to go off. I was able to get them all over the fence before the first one went boom, and boom they went. I go back inside and into my room, I hear them going off. Boom, boom, boom. One of my roommates wakes up and goes, "What the F?" Boom! He wakes my other roommate, his room was closer, and they are both freaking out. Time to put my game face on. I scramble on out of there and react visibly scared. I look at them and tell them to call the cops. He calls 911 and tells the cops he hears explosions. I go outside and pretend to look like I'm trying to find out what is going on. I tell my friend that it is coming from next door. He tells me that the cops have already been sent to the area by a previous caller. The booming continues. I tell him there's a bunch of smoke coming from outside. They tell us to stay inside. The last one goes off, we close the doors and watch the mayhem unfold. Right before the cops come, the Heisen bros show up freaking out. Right as they go inside, about 3 cop cars show up and go through the front door. The officers haul them away and we go outside. They question us and we tell them what we know. As far as the chlorine gas is concerned, it has already wafted into the atmosphere. They came back a couple days later and asked us questions specifically about the brothers. We told them what we heard about them and how they acted and what they did. The officer left and that was the last time I talked about it. Nobody knows about what I did but me. And it was the happiest we have been in a long time. The last I heard about them, they were doing hard time for their drug ring, being in possession of illegal firearms and human trafficking surprisingly. And guys, whether true or not, I gotta say, this was a fantastic revenge story. And not only because of the names chosen by the author, it definitely reminded me a bit of one of the best TV shows of all time, Breaking Bad. And ripe stars, unfortunately we have already reached the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content. However, if you cannot wait for more ripe content, then I suggest you head on over to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where you can find more exclusive Reddit content read by me. Patreon subscriptions start at just $1 per month, and for $1 your name will show up at the end of each of my new videos. However, if you are willing to spend $3 per month, you will get access to more than 50 exclusive Reddit videos, mostly just no mother-in-law stories. However, please understand, I don't want to pressure anyone into spending money, because I am already incredibly grateful that you watch my videos every single day. Thank you so much for your daily support, it really means the world to me, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for the next video.